Morning, everyone. My name is Randy, and I have another episode of MrMegaGame pickups for you guys. Now, let me start by saying this. I had these games since like October 8th, because that was when my birthday came around, and the first thing I thought was to add more to the collection. But I thought to myself, and I realized that the first two pickup videos were like a week apart from each other. And I'm not going to be able to get brand new games every single week. That's just not possible for me. So I think for now that I'm going to be doing these like once a month. And I was going to upload this yesterday on Halloween, but I had already uploaded a video that day and I didn't want to do two videos in one day. So I saved it for November 1st. But in hindsight, I will be doing this hopefully at the end of every month if like an upload date doesn't fall on that day. And if it does, I'll just save that for the first of the next month. So you can expect at least one of these videos a month, hopefully, if the schedule works out right. But anyway, I do have a stack of games here. I even remembered to save my receipt this time so I can total up exactly how much I spent on these. And no joke, ever since I bought these, they've just been hanging in the bag that they came in that I keep under my desk. I didn't even bother adding them to the wall yet because I wanted to present them to you guys first. So, start off with, some of you probably already saw it, but I got Assassin's Creed 2 for PS3 and it was only $4. And once again, it's all complete. I now have the total Ezio collection on disc now. So that's nice. I have several of the Assassin's Creed games on disc now. One day I'm gonna do a video where I actually cover all the stuff that's on there, because some of it you guys know about, some of it I haven't really shown you guys before. So that'll be a fun one. I also grabbed Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I don't really talk about Prince of Persia often, but Prince of Persia is one of my favorite franchises, and it's another franchise that Ubisoft tends to forget about a lot of the time. I think back in 2019, they announced they were going to do a remake of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, and I was like, yes, I need more Prince of Persia. But unfortunately, after that announcement, they didn't say anything about it for years. Prince of Persia fans like me thought the game would be canceled, but no, they just delayed it. Like, don't keep people in suspense for that long. Tell them what's happening. Why do you think people hate you, Ubisoft, other than the fact that your games are so repetitive and that they are all designed very similarly? But this is not a 3D platformer. This is a side-scrolling platformer, or side-scrolling Metroidvania game. I actually played through this recently. I didn't think it would be good for the channel because there's a lot of backtracking and stuff, and I don't want to bore you guys, but I've recently completed this, and this is a great game. I'm still waiting for the Sands of Time remake, but this was a good placeholder until then. So if you're a fan of Metroidvanias or Prince of Persia in general, you're gonna like this one. Oh, by the way, I took the tag off of that one because I wanted to play immediately, but I paid $23 for this game, which isn't bad because I think this came out like this year or like last year. I can't remember for sure. And plus, they didn't. I think when it first came out, they weren't charging full price. I think it was like what, $40–50. So if my math is right, that's almost half off. That's pretty good. And the next one I found was True Crime: Streets of New York. Or just New York City. I just like to call it Streets of New York. But yeah, I've heard so much about this game. Also, I got the manual with it. You know I love reading these things. But I've heard so much about this game over the years, especially after I played Streets of LA for the first time. But I never actually got to own it or play it myself. Yeah, apparently closing these discs just shoots my microphone to the max. It was just crazy. But I've never got to play True Crime New York City before. I knew that it had like I knew it was the sequel. I knew that even though some of the mechanics, as far as I can tell, were improved, it's not nearly as beloved as Streets of LA. So eventually I'm going to get around to playing this for a Let's Play. I am looking forward to it, but yeah, that's all I really have to say on that one, at least for now. Okay, the next three are probably my biggest gets, just because I'm pretty sure that they are rare, and not rare as in that there are literally copies of them. I'm saying rare in terms of they are difficult to get at a reasonable price. But first of all, I got Mortal Kombat Deception for $15. Funny thing about this game, I didn't really start getting into Mortal Kombat until Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Because when I first started getting into gaming, I really wasn't into fighting games that much. I was mostly playing platformers and racers. But after Mortal Kombat vs. DC, I was like, okay, I'm pretty decent at fighting games, I realized. So I started collecting all the Mortal Kombat games. I tried to get all the Smash Brothers, all that kind of stuff. And Mortal Kombat Deception. When I was going to my Play It Retro near me, I would constantly find no. They have this glass display case where they keep all their most popular games. And by popular, I mean the most expensive ones. And no joke, I've been going there for years. And when I go there, every time, they are selling Mortal Kombat Deception, but not the game. There was no disc. The only thing that they were selling was the case and the manual. And if I remember right, they were charging $40 for just the case and the manual. I'm like, wow. And I kind of get why it was the special edition. Or I could be thinking of Deadly Alliance. I know it was one of the PS2 era Mortal Kombat games. But I was like, who in their right mind is going to pay that much for just the manual and the case? And apparently somebody was, because the last time I went there, it was gone. But I actually got this from a different disc replay that I went to. And they were only charging it for $15. So I was like, I'm gonna grab it, of course. In terms of doing Mortal Kombat games for the channel, that might be a little difficult because I would have to edit a lot because YouTube is weird when it comes to blood. Like, it's very weird. Look, I can get away with uploading God of War no problem, but Mortal Kombat, they like to be... Or maybe that's because I have to increase my videos rating to 18 like I normally do, because sometimes I swear. Or maybe I'm just... Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe I'm retroactively diminishing my audience because all of my videos are rated 18 plus. Maybe that's something I probably have to fix. But yeah, I got Mortal Kombat Deception now. And if I'm going to be doing like Mortal Kombat games, I'm probably going to start with Deadly Alliance. Alright. The next one I have is Power Rangers Super Legends, the 15th anniversary of the franchise. I don't really talk about Power Rangers much on the channel, but oh, by the way, $17. Ooh, I'm trying my best to open these without like causing too much noise, but yeah, I got the manual for this one too. I miss the days when we had memory card holders. Like, remember that? Anyway, I think I started getting into Power Rangers back when Wild Force was on TV. And I stuck around with the franchise all the way up to Mystic Force? There was a time when I used to remember the order of all these. But after that, I went back and I watched everything before Wild Force. So I have a great amount of knowledge about everything Power Rangers from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Mystic Force. And I know vague things about what happened in the later seasons. But other than that, I loved Power Rangers growing up as a kid. And I was aware that there were Power Rangers video games. And a lot of them weren't very good. the one that I really, and personal story here, I knew that there was a Dino Thunder game. Dino Thunder was like my favorite incarnation of Power Rangers up to that point, but I was very disappointed to see that you couldn't play as the Rangers themselves. It was just you playing as their Zords. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, that's a cool idea, but I also want to do the martial arts. Like, come on. But this is a game very similar to the Kim Possible game that I played for the channel. It's a side scroller. There's combat abilities. Yes, there are Megazord fights. But instead of just playing as Kim and Shigo, I get to play with 20 different Power Rangers from across the franchise. Now, I don't know exactly who's playable in this game. I'm assuming that from the front cover, Jason, some of the Ninja Storm Rangers, and RPM Rangers are all playable. And that kind of sucks. I forgot RPM was a thing by the time the 15th anniversary came around. And if you're a Power Rangers fan, you know RPM sucks. So if I have the choice, I'm not playing as any of the RPM Rangers. I'm sorry for people who like that one. But yeah, this is definitely something I'm gonna have to play for the channel. Maybe sooner rather than later, because there's all that news going around that they're Nickelodeon selling off all the old suits and stuff, which is scary to think, because why would you do that? Like, crossover episodes are one of the biggest appeals of Power Rangers. If you're getting rid of the costumes, that means A, you're done with the franchise and you're trying to sell off everything you can make money off of. Or B, you are still sticking with the franchise, but you have no intention of doing any more crossovers with the older actors. Both scenarios are terrifying. But lastly, and surely not least, Tony Hawk Underground 2. Yes, I got another Tony Hawk game, and it was only $17. I gotta be very careful. Yeah, why does it spike every time I open up a game? That's so weird. But yeah, complete with the manual. This thing is thick, by the way. This is the thickest manual of all of them. Look at this. Like, look how thick this is. And I get why. There are a lot of mechanics in this game. This, not only all the game modes, but all the, because up to Underground 2 was when they were like, okay, we fully mastered the controls of this. Like, every page is a different part of the game. Different tricks, create a park, create a skater. There's so much in here. It would take me a couple minutes just to get through this whole thing and remember everything. But yeah, I know Eric is most likely watching this, but or maybe not, because he's Eric. But I used to play Tony Hawk. I think I had Underground 1 as a kid. And I would play it religiously. I was good up to a point, but then I stopped playing these games because I got interested in other stuff. And so when I started collecting games again, I started doing a channel. Sorry. I realized that one of the things I wanted to do was collect a bunch of the old Tony Hawks. Pretty much everything before American Wasteland. Because those are the only ones I really care about. So far I have this. And wait. Okay, so I have this and I have Underground 1 now. So I have both of the Underground games. So I still need to get the rest of the Pro Skaters. I want to say I have one of them already. Okay, I do. So I have Underground 1, I have Underground 2, and I have Pro Skater 4. So the other ones I want to get are Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3. And I also intend on getting some of the PS1 versions because, surprisingly enough, despite being on lower hardware, the PS1 versions are actually pretty solid in their own right. Okay, so this time all around, I only got 6 games. And that's because some of these were a little more expensive than usual. So in total, I spent $93 on this stuff. And if you're wondering where that number came from, it's because of the $7 tax. Because that's how life is, unfortunately. But I'm not upset with the price at all, because a lot of these games are hard to come by, especially at a decent price. So I have no problem with how much I spent on this. Also, one other thing I wanted to bring up, I haven't really talked about all the games I have digitally, like on my PS3, my PS5, my Xbox One, Steam. I have so many more games on downloaded than I do on disc. I actually bought a bunch of new games for my PS5 because there was a sale recently. It was for the Halloween sale that was happening. So let me know in the comments if you guys want to see my collection of downloaded of digital games as well. I would be more than happy to share with you guys. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Please let me know if you guys have played these games before, or if you want me to play them for the channel, your own experiences. I love talking to everybody about video games. It's very fun. And as always, I appreciate all of you. I love the discussions. I love the comments. I just love it when people take time out of their day to watch something that I made or to experience something with me. I don't know why, but it feels good to have that kind of connection with some people. But I appreciate all the support. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.